Now back to the crossover with Marlon Jones and Armon Williams.
All right, welcome back to the crossover with Marlon and Armon, KDUS 1060. Subscribe and follow us on our social media accounts on both our YouTube and Facebook and YouTube channels at the crossover 1060. Once again, that's at the crossover 1060, and you can also listen to our listener line. You can call into our listener line 602-260-1060 if you got to take. Once again, that's 602-260-1060. And with that, strap in for Biketoberfest at OTG Sports Grill from Wednesday, October 4th through Sunday, October 8th. Biketoberfest week includes a Harley-Davidson raffle, poker run, live bands, Miss Biketoberfest pageant, beard contest, barbecue cook-off, raffles, biker games, food trucks, vendors, and more. It's a week's worth of great live bands, food, drinks, atmosphere, and bikes, baby. So check it out, OTG Sports Grill at 801 South Power Road, just north of Southern Avenue on Power Road in Mesa. We'll be there on October 4th. But as of right now, Marlon Jones and myself, Big Pimpin', Big Showtime, and the Hammer, one and only. We're here at Augusta Ranch Golf Club out here in Mesa at the Scratch, the Scratch Bar. And you guys can come and check us out. We're going to be here for a while, hanging out with the rowdy bunch here. You can hear the noise a little bit. Just a couple seconds ago, they were cheering on a touchdown. What was it? It was a big play by who's playing over there? Is that Wisconsin?
I don't know, but they've only been drinking since 6 a.m.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. They're getting loud and rowdy here. Marlon, you mentioned something. I think we probably can touch on it real quick.
Okay.
Talked about we're talking baseball and the Arizona Diamondbacks and their chance to get to the playoffs the first time since 2017. Should be a big deal for them. But something else that's kind of a big deal around Major League Baseball and certainly within the Angels organization is Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani just recently just cleared out his locker room. Understand?
Last night.
Yeah, he cleared out his locker room. He's, I guess he's done with the Angels. Now, last I heard, he was getting ready to get a bag by the Angels and be a long timer. But I guess
he was probably about to get the biggest contract in MLB history,
without a doubt.
Marino, I'm sure, was going to hook him up, but as I was getting ready last night, to go to bed, and I'm on Twitter, and I'm looking to see what's trending, and I see Ohtani.
Right.
So I click on there, and yeah, he's cleared his locker out. There's no other explanation.
Right. I'm reading it right now. It says Shohei Ohtani's locker room emptied out. Angels to explain today, Saturday. So they didn't give an explanation.
No.
They're trying to figure. I guess they're probably trying to figure out. Their heads are scrambling too.
Right.
Their heads are probably soupy right now.
Exactly.
Just a bowl of soup. This is Associated Press says Anaheim, California. Shohei Ohtani's locker room has been mostly cleared out at the Angels Stadium, and the Los Angeles Angels declined to say why Friday night. The two-way superstar missed the 11th consecutive game with an oblique muscular injury Friday night when the Angels lost 11-2 to the Detroit Tigers. Says although Ohtani was at the stadium before the game, the soon-to-be free agent's locker was largely empty afterwards. Says nearly all personnel items have been removed from his locker and the adjoining empty stall. It says a fully packed bag and a logo from the 2023 All-Star Game sat in front of the stall where his shoes would normally be, and only a few workout shirts hung in the rack. So this is kind of bizarre, man. This is definitely bizarre. I think it's an understatement.
Yeah, I think it's caught everybody off guard. Today, obviously,
right?
When you hear that only the best baseball player in the world cleared his stuff,
right?
With no explanation,
right? The
organization has no idea. It's like you said, they're scrambling, trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And
at this point, it's only speculation, but that sounds pretty. But he's not the type of guy that would seem to cause much of a ruckus, in his locker room. He doesn't seem like that type of guy.
Well, the locker room being cleared, that's true. The only speculation we have is why it's cleared out. Mm-hmm. That's the part that is speculative. But the fact of the matter is, his locker room is empty.
Yeah. So that's something that definitely we'll be watching that and talking about that as we find something out. And if we find something out today, we'll definitely try to mention it. During the show, if something transpires during the show if they go ahead and make an announcement as to why he cleared his locker room out. But I want to get back on the upcoming matchup against the New York Giants. The Arizona Cardinals will be hosting the New York Giants this Sunday. It's 1 o'clock start at the State Farm Stadium out there in Glendale. The betting lines right now, they got the Giants by 6. This is according to FanDuel Sportsbook. Now the series record, New York leads the series record 80 games to 46 with 2 ties. The last meeting that they met the Giants, the Cardinals beat the Giants 26-7. That was December 13th, 2020. But I mentioned last week the Giants, they got curb stomped to the Dallas Cowboys 40-0 on the primetime NBC's primetime game, basically in front of America. It was really an embarrassing loss by them. The Cardinals, they had a less embarrassing performance. They lost to the Washington Commanders Week 1, 20-16. And actually, there were some things that I saw from the Cardinals that I actually like. In particular, the defense. And I thought the defense by first-year defensive coordinator Nick Rawlins, actually, I think he's trying to set the table. I think he did a nice job setting the table far as how this Cardinals defense is going to try to get after opponents. I think he did a really good job, basically holstering Sam Howell.
Now, was that Giants team, were they a playoff team?
They're a
last
playoff
year?
contender, yeah.
No, they did make the playoffs last year, right? I
believe they did make.
Yeah, they made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm asking that, is questioning it, was because of this play of football that they put out there.
It was ugly
against the Cowboys, another playoff caliber team
in New York,
on their home field,
right?
Opening
night.
weekend, opening night
in front of America, NBC, their prime time, the prime time night game. And they got absolutely cursed. I have to ask the question: are they are the Dallas Cowboys? Is their defense that good, or the New York Giants? Are they just that pathetic? Because they look god awful in that game.
They looked horrendous. It was it was a cringe fest, and I've never felt bad for a professional team in my life than I did for the Giants.
Yeah.
I
didn't feel that bad.
I actually
but it was
did.
ugly. It was an ugly game.
They were completely overmatched.
They really were overmatched
in every aspect of the game. So I don't know if that's a case of they underachieved, they weren't ready, or the Cowboys are ready to turn the page, and at least on the defensive side,
turn the corner a little bit.
Yeah, they're that team. But
I think Dallas is going to be fierce defensively. I don't know what they're going to look like offensively. They did away with the Giants. They made them look really, really horrible. I don't know if the Cowboys are that good and the Giants are necessarily that bad. I could tell you right now that the turnover differential, the Giants were -3, and the Cowboys, they got all over them. Cardinals, actually, they were a +1 or on a turnover differential. But like I said, they got after Sam Howell. They did a nice job.
Right.
They got six sacks from 5 different players. Dennis Gardeck had 2 sacks, including one caused a fumble, which was returned for a touchdown. I mentioned in the preseason how I like Dennis Gardeck. I love the kid's motor. He's the ultimate overachiever, if you will. I mean, he wasn't drafted. Came in as an undrafted free agent. Was able to go ahead and work his way on the team. He excelled at special teams, worked his way into the defense, coming off the edge, and he's pretty much the heart and soul and the motor of that defense. And then somebody else that I was really impressed with, over the last couple seasons, and I really wanted the Cardinals to draft him, was Zaven Collins, who had an interception in that game, that first matchup against the Commanders. And his stats weren't necessarily they weren't exceptional as far as like total tackles. Only had a couple tackles, but he's an impact player, and I think that Gardeck and Zaven Collins are definitely going to be the heart and soul of this defense. And obviously, Budda Baker is going to factor. He's in the mix as well. But their secondary is a little bit better than I thought that they would be. This team is definitely going to this Cardinals team this season, in my personal opinion, they're definitely going to be led by their defense. Offensively, they're still probably a couple grades back behind the defense, but the defense is definitely they were impressed with the first game.
Well, you got to figure Dobbins is still learning the playbook.
Yeah, Dobbs. Yeah. Well, actually, Joshua Dobbs should be fairly familiar with the system because the offensive coordinator was his quarterback coach in Cleveland. So, it's and I think that's part of the reason why they went ahead and brought Joshua Dobbs over from Tennessee, but he was in Cleveland under Drew Petzing's offense, working with him directly as the quarterback when Drew Petzing was the quarterback coach. But he should be somewhat familiar. I know maybe I think it's probably more or less his players that he's got to get accustomed to, the wide receivers. And as well as this Cardinals culture, but that will probably come. But it's yet to be seen. I mean, right now he's ranked last as far as quarterbacks are concerned, his QBR, and
Well, one thing for sure is we're going to find out which Giants team, what type of team the Giants are this upcoming Sunday, and where the Cards are going to be at.
Absolutely,
because the Cards did look a lot better than I thought.
Defensively, they did.
Defensively,
yeah.
So like you said, that's a bright spot.
Right.
So they could build upon that, and but the Giants, I mean, offense, defense, special teams, it was a wreck.
It was pathetic all around.
That was one of the worst displays of football I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
It was awful.
It was pathetic, and just kind of give you a quick idea. The key for the key matchup for the Giants is the offensive line. They're going to have to try to bounce back after allowing QB Daniel Jones to get beat up last weekend in their poor performance. They only had 171 yards for New York total yards.
That Dallas defense, 37 fantasy points last week.
Yeah, amazing. We'll see if they'll be able to continue to match that or at least hold serve. I think they're going to definitely fall back, but it'll be interesting to see them. All right, coming up next, we're going to go ahead and stay right here in the NFL. Former NFL media writer Jim Trotter files a lawsuit against the NFL based on accusations of covering up racism around the league. And we're going to go ahead and discuss that further, and we'll give you our take on it right here on the Crossover, KDUS 1060.